So it is good to be with you once again, brothers and sisters. All praises to the Most High. I'm your host, the Apostle Reuben of IUPR Bible Radio, podcasting to the true children of Israel out of Little Rock, Arkansas, to the true saints of the Most High God. Freely giving the word of God as it was freely given to me. And I thank him for it. Happy Sabbath, brothers and sisters, to you and to yours. Today is the day of rest, and the rest is in the law, like it says in Romans 2:17. We're in Revelation 21. I just want to go ahead and get into it. You know, I don't want to keep you waiting. So we're in Revelation 21. Now, again, brothers and sisters, when these Christians read the Bible, however you want to mix it, they read the Bible, true enough, but there is always a cross-reference in the text, always. It's never going to be where one person just saw the vision, because this is a vision. John is seeing a vision. So I'm going to just read it. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. So there is 3 levels to this verse. But the Christians want to remove themselves from the cross-reference by continuing to read on down. Can't do that. So in this verse, we're going to look at 3 things. New heaven and the new earth. We're going to look at the reference. And we're going to look at how the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. And what did it mean when it says there was no more sea? So I want to go to the first part by cross-referencing in the Old Testament, the book of Isaiah, chapter 65. Now, I just want to show you that Isaiah had a vision of the new heavens and the new earth as well as John. But Christians usually don't want to go back here. Now, we're not going to read all the way down. We're just looking at the reference of a new heavens and a new earth. We're just letting you know Isaiah saw it as well. For behold, I create a new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered nor come to mind. So Isaiah sees in his prophecy God creating a new heavens and a new earth, as well as John. It not only says it here, but if we go to Isaiah 66, just a chapter over, Isaiah 66, verse 22. For as the new heavens and a new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. So God says, as a new heavens and a new earth, which I will make, shall remain, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. What does it mean, so shall your seed and your name remain? Right along with the new heavens and the new earth. Who's going to remain for the new heavens and the new earth that God is going to make? The book of Isaiah 4 and 3. We're going to show you who's going to remain. Isaiah 4. It's easy. When you are interested in what it's talking about, you're going to search it out. Isaiah 4 and 3. Let's go to Isaiah 4 and 2. And that day shall the branch of the Lord be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and comely for them that are escaped of Israel. Israel now. And it shall come to pass that he that is left, because a lot of people are going to die. Left means left alive. He that is left in Zion, and he that remaineth, remain. So shall your seed remain. It's showing you here. And he that remaineth in Jerusalem shall be called holy, even every one that is written among the living in Jerusalem. When it says written among the living, that's the book of life. So you see who's going to remain: Israel. So when you go back to Isaiah 66, the Bible shows you in prophecy everything you need to see. Isaiah 66:22. One more time. Then we're going to go back. Isaiah 66. Verse 22. For as the new heavens and the new earth, which I will make, shall remain before me, saith the Lord, so shall your seed and your name remain. The seed and the name that's going to remain is Israel. Showing you who's going to be in the new heavens and the new earth. So when I go to 2 Peter, we're showing you the places where it's mentioned. 2 Peter 3, and we're going to read verse 13, and we're going to go back to Revelation. 2 Peter 3:13, nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Who's looking for a new heavens and a new earth? It's not the nations. We didn't see that. We saw a seed remain from the new heavens and the new earth. But you can cross-reference in the text, new heavens and a new earth. Now I'm going to go back to Revelation 21 because I don't want you to forget the thought. Revelation 21, verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth. We see in cross-referencing the Bible that the new heavens and the new earth is for a seed, not for a lot of other nations. A seed. And the promise Peter was talking about was going back to Isaiah. So when he sees a new heaven and a new earth, pay attention. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. So we're going to take a look at that. For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. Who was that? Let's go back, and I want to go to Job 9:24. I want to point this out real quick. Job 9. Verse 24, when he says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So we know that the earth is given to the hands of the wicked. And Christ is going to say it a different way. He's going to say it a different way, but it's the same thing. In the book of Luke 21:24. And they is Jerusalem, shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive unto all nations. Captive is slaves unto all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles. You're going to find out that the Gentiles are the wicked. We're going to show you this. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled, which is finished. So the Gentiles are going to rule until Christ returns. That's a fact. Any Sunday pastor who wants to tell the truth is going to tell you, yes, Gentiles will be ruling the earth when Christ comes. But the Gentiles are noted as something else in the Bible. Remember, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So let's go to Psalms 9. Psalms 9. Verse 5. David writes, thou hast rebuked the heathen. The heathen. Thou hast rebuked the heathen. Funny, brothers and sisters, how it works, but here. This is where I wanted to go. This is where I wanted to go, brothers and sisters. I messed up the first time. I brought up a screen. I don't even know if my mic was on that screen. But here's what I want to go. Now, I want you to look at heathen, because it's all a trick. It's all a trick. They have these things listed, and you have to know what to look for. So here's the heathen. Heathen, people, nation, usually used for a non-Israelitish people, and thus has the meaning of Gentiles. See, brothers and sisters, all of that usually used for a non-Israelitish people is them trying to control your thoughts. Heathen means people, nations, Gentiles. That's what it means. Heathen means the same as Gentiles. The rest of that they got in the middle, no. It's just to curve your thoughts. You will never see a non-Israelitish people verse in the text. You will never see non-Jew, non-Israel in the text. You cannot define what a Gentile is without a verse. They keep going to verses, but they never identify what it is. Like plain and simple. We showed you this. If we go to 1 Corinthians, because I really want you to see this. If we go to 1 Corinthians 12, verse 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. So Paul's brethren, which were Israelites, were Gentiles because of idolatry. Dumb idols, idolatry. They were Gentiles because of idolatry. See, this verse tells you that the Gentiles are idolaters. We're looking for the Christian to bring up a verse that says, now ye know that ye were Gentiles, non-Israelites. We don't see that. You cannot define Gentiles as non-Israelites or non-Jews if there's no verse to prove it. Here's the verse to prove that the Gentiles are idolaters. Here is a verse to prove that the Gentiles are idolaters. And when you go back to the book of Ephesians 2, because Ephesians 2 has it directly for you to see, the book of Ephesians 2:11. This is how you identify the Gentiles. You can't say non-Jew, non-Israel, and you don't have a verse. Ephesians 2:11. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past. Notice, you were Gentiles in the flesh who are called uncircumcision. That is what Gentiles mean. Either Gentiles is an idolater or the uncircumcision. And both of them are one and the same, because you are of the uncircumcision worshiping other gods. It's the same thing. But we identify with what the Bible says. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh who are called uncircumcision. A Gentile was the uncircumcision or an idolater. These verses plainly say that. Plainly. But they reject it because they want to control the thoughts of the people by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands. So when you are identifying who the Gentiles are, you see idolatry, uncircumcision, and you're going to see the heathen. I'm going to show you the book of Psalms. The book of Psalms, chapter 18. Psalms 18 and verse 49. It says, therefore will I give thanks unto thee, O Lord, among the heathen, and sing praises unto thy name. Now we're going to go to the verse in Romans where Paul quotes this verse. The book of Romans, chapter 15. Watch, Paul quotes this, but he, instead of using heathen, he's going to use something else. We're going to come back to this verse, but I want you to pay attention. The book of Romans, chapter 15. We're showing you what the text say. They can't do this. Christians cannot do this. The book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 9. And that the Gentiles might glorify God for his mercy. Now that is found in Romans 9, verses 23 to 26, Northern Kingdom. That's the Gentiles that are going to glorify him in this mercy. As it is written, for this cause I will confess thee among the Gentiles. Look, this is the same thing that's written in Psalms 48. No, excuse me, Psalms 18, verse 49. I'm sorry. I got a lot of verses in my brain. When I quote the wrong verse, I got this verse in my head. Excuse me, brothers and sisters. But before we go back to Psalms 18:49, Paul says, for this cause I will confess to thee among the Gentiles, and sing unto thy name. Remember, for this cause I will confess to thee among the Gentiles. I will confess to thee among the Gentiles. That's Psalms 18:49. Therefore will I give thanks unto thee, O Lord, among the heathen. See, David writes the heathen. Paul wrote the Gentiles, letting you know that the heathen and the Gentiles mean the same, according to chapter and verse. I'm going to say it again. Gentiles and the heathen mean the same. They're the same thing as you saw here. Excuse me, that's the wrong thing. Right here. Heathen, people, nation. At the end, usually used for a non-Israelitish people. That's crap. And thus has the meaning of Gentiles, because they know that Gentiles and heathen mean the same. So David writes, he says, therefore will I give thanks unto thee, O Lord, among the heathen, and sing praises unto thy name. And Paul used a different word. And that the Gentiles might glorify God for his mercy, as it is written. Written where? Psalms 18:49. For this cause I will confess to thee among the Gentiles. David says heathen. Paul says Gentiles. But this verse is verbatim. Psalms 18:49. And sing unto thy name. And sing unto thy name. Same verse. That's why it says, for it is written. So Gentiles and heathen meant the same. So when we go, Psalms 9. There's nothing they can do. Psalms 9. In verse 5. It says, thou hast rebuked the heathen, the Gentiles. Thou hast destroyed the wicked. That's the wicked. The wicked are the Gentiles. Thou hast put out their name forever and ever. The heathen, the Gentiles, are the wicked. The rulers of the earth. Again, Psalm 59. Just giving you a couple of verses to show. Psalms 59 and 5. Thou therefore, O Lord God of hosts. Excuse me. The God of Israel, awake to visit all the heathen. Be not merciful to any wicked transgressors. So do you see? The heathen are the wicked. The heathen are the wicked. The Gentiles are the wicked. So when it says in Job 9:24, the earth is given into the hand of the Gentiles, he covereth the faces of the Israelites thereof, the judges. If not, where and who is he? So when you see the earth is given into the hand of the wicked, it's the Gentiles is given to. And the wicked could be those Israelites that follow the system. Just putting that in play first. So when I go to Psalms 37, back to Psalms 30, back to the book of Psalms. I'm going to Psalms 37. And verse 34. It says, wait on the Lord and keep his way. His way is the law. And he shall exalt thee to inherit the land. When the Gentiles are cut off, thou shalt see it. That's the wicked, the Gentiles. Pay attention. I have seen the Gentiles in great power and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Ooh, yes, sir. Gone. He was not means gone. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found, because he is gone. So now you know one of the things that has to pass away, the new heavens and the new earth to occur, the Gentiles. Now let's hold on. I want to go to 2 Peter. Back to 2 Peter 3. Verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away. There it is. The heavens shall pass away. Pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Now notice it says pass away with a great noise. So we know, understanding when it says heavens, it's not talking about the sky. It's talking about powers are going to pass away. Powers with a great noise. We're going to take a look at this noise, because remember it says with a great noise. What is this noise? So in order to understand, because right now, brothers and sisters, Peter is prophesying what's to come. And in order for you to understand what Peter is saying, you must cross-reference. So when he says pass away with a great noise, let's take a look at the noise by a prophet. Jeremiah 25. In verse 30, it says, therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them, the Lord shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from his holy habitation. That's from heaven. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. That's Israel. He shall give a shout. He shall, this is the same shout Paul was talking about in 1 Thessalonians 4:16 and 17. We're not going to go there for sake of time, but he shall give a shout. As they that tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. Watch this. A noise. This noise is the noise Peter was talking about. This is the noise Peter was talking about. A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth, for the Lord hath a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. He will give them that are wicked. See, this is another group. See, we know who the wicked are. See, our wicked means that they're following the wicked. See, there is a wicked, and they are those that are committing wickedness with the wicked. You're going to see, to the sword, saith the Lord. But look, It says a noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. Noise. For the Lord hath a controversy with the nations. He will plead with all flesh. Let's look at, when it says he will plead with all flesh, we're going to look at how he's going to plead with all flesh, and then we're going to look at why he's pleading with all flesh. You'll be surprised. Let's go to Isaiah 66. Isaiah 66, and we want verse 15. Isaiah writes, "For behold, the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebukes with flames of fire." With flames of fire. I want you to pay attention. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So with fire and war, the sword is war, will the Lord plead, with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. So now you know how he's going to plead with all flesh, and that's with fire. Now let's take a look at Joel 3. Why is the Lord going to do this? Joel 3, and we're going to start in verse 1. Look at this, Joel 3 and 1. "For behold, in those days and at that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." Bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. "I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." So you know he's going to plead with them by fire. Isaiah 66 verse 16. And the reason he's going to plead with them is for his people. He's going to come back to destroy nations for his people. One punch, two punch. So he's going to plead with them by fire. And he's coming to plead with them for his people. So let's go back to Jeremiah. Wait a minute, Jeremiah 25. Jeremiah 25. Verse 31. A noise. Peter was talking about this noise. "A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. For the Lord hath a controversy with the nations, and he will plead with fire. And for his people, with all flesh, he will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord." Look at this. This is talking about the noise now. "Thus saith the Lord of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised from the coast of the earth." This is this noise now. This is in detail. "And the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other." In the time, brothers and sisters, that this noise comes, that Peter was talking about, you can see the slain of the Lord shall be at that day, the day of the Lord, that day, the day of the Lord, from one end of the earth even to the other. God is going to kill from 1 inch of the planet to the other everyone that has captive his children. Come on now. That's why they keep the people up in the church bojangling without the Bible. Destruction is on the way, but you got these pastors, these black pastors, your T.D. Jakes, your Creflo Dollar, your Anita Bynums, your Michael Todds, and your Geno Jennings, and just anybody else you want to see. Charles Stanley, whoever. Got our people asleep because they understand what's coming. They understand what's on the way. And the slain of the Lord shall be at that day, the day of the Lord, from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth. They shall not be lamented. No one's going to cry over them, neither gather. They're not going to gather them. They're going to lay out in the dirt and decompose. Neither gathered nor buried. They shall be as dung on the ground. The earth is going to be left with bodies on it. God is not going to allow his people to go near them at this time. Corpses on top of corpses. So when we talk about the noise, when we talk about that noise in verse 31, you got to talk about war and death. Malachi 4. Malachi 4. See, the warning is to our people. The warning is to our people. Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven. Burn as an oven. Burn as an oven. Psalms. Look at this. The Bible. The prophets are in a tag team mode. They all see the same vision. That's ignored. It goes upon deaf ears or not at all. Look at this. Thine hand shall find out all thine enemies. Thy right hand shall find out those that hate thee. So if we go, who is God's enemies? Esau. Psalms 83, 2-6. We already know that, who the enemy is. But watch this. Thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thine anger. The Lord shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them. So it's an oven coming. Can you imagine an oven? An old wood stove with the fire going in it? That's what God's talking about. Burn, fire. He shall make them as a fiery oven. Them. Let's go back to Malachi 4. Malachi 4, verse 1. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all them that do wickedly shall be stubble. 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 Now, remember this prophecy in Obadiah. Remember the prophecy in Obadiah, brothers and sisters? Book of Obadiah. Just one verse. Obadiah 1:18. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. There's that stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord has spoken it. Look at that. It says, there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau. There shall not be any remaining. Didn't we just see that? Let's go back to Psalms 37. Psalms 37. The Bible carries a harsh truth. Either you can accept it or you can't. The book of Psalms 37. Verse 35. I have seen the wicked, the Gentiles, in great power, and spreading himself like a green bay tree. Yet he passed away, and lo, he was not. Yea, I sought him, but he could not be found. You know why? Because there's not going to be any remaining. There's not going to be any remaining. So back to Malachi 4. It's not taking it in a direction, brothers and sisters. The prophets seen the wicked no more. Malachi 4:1. For behold, the day cometh, saith the day cometh, that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, yea, and all them that do wickedly shall be stubble. Who's going to be stubble? We know Esau is. Esau is going to be stubble. And the day that cometh shall burn them up. That's how he's going to be stubble. Burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts. Look at this. That it shall leave them neither root nor branch. Now there is the third verse that testifies that no one's going to be left. It shall leave them neither root nor branch. Neither root nor branch. But pay attention. Look at this. But unto you that fear my name shall the sun, which is the light of righteousness. And this is the sun, being the light, which is Christ, of righteousness, arise with healing in his wings. And ye shall go forth and grow up as calves in a stall. Look at this. And ye shall tread down the wicked, the Gentiles, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet in the day. Let me read that again. I butchered it. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be as ashes under the soles of your feet in the day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts. Do what? When he burns the earth up, when he turns the earth into an oven. So going back to 2 Peter, you kind of can see what's going on here. 2 Peter 3:10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. That noise, you got detail on the noise. There's going to be a lot of death, a lot of fire, a lot of people dying. And the elements of people included, shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. And you got the clear picture on who would be burned, who will not be left. The Lord pleading with all flesh, with fire, and for his people. So what comes with that noise is great death. Great death. And that is how it's going to pass away. That's why when you go back to Revelation 21, verse 1, and I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away. How? By fire and by death. And there was no more sea. Let's take a look at, what does it mean, no more sea? Does it mean there's no more water? Let's go to the book of Isaiah. I want to get a couple of Isaiah 17. We're going to find out what this sea is. Isaiah 17. Verse 12. Isaiah writes, woe to the multitude of many people, many nations, which maketh a noise like the noise of the seas. See the parable? The noise of the seas. The seas are multitude of men. It's going to say it again when we go to Isaiah 23. And to the rushing of nations that make a rushing like the rushing of mighty waters. So the sea is a similitude for nations, people. Let's go to Isaiah 23. Where it flat out says it. Isaiah 23 verse 11. He stretched out his hand over the sea, he shook the kingdom. See, the kingdoms was the sea. The kingdoms were a similitude for the sea. The Lord hath given a commandment against the merchant city to destroy the strongholds thereof. So when you see sea is a comparison to the nations. That's all that is. Because you're going to see, brothers and sisters, there's going to be water in the new heavens and the new earth. Revelation 21. Verse 1. And I saw a new heavens and a new earth. It was already prophesied to come. There was a seed that's going to remain for it. For the first heaven away by fire, by sword, with the Lord pleading with them for his people. And there was no more sea. The sea, there was no more ruling nations on the earth. All that was cut out. Pay attention. And I, John, saw the holy city, Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Now, when you see the holy city, you can't just interpret it how you want to. You got to go back to Isaiah 52 and verse 1. It says, "Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city." See, Zion, holy city. Zion is the holy city. That's a people. Awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. That's a people. That's Israel. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the holy city. So the holy city is a people. You're thinking it's just a city coming down, a big building. No, the city is Zion itself. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee the uncircumcised and the unclean. Now again, uncircumcised had a meaning as well. What was it? Uncircumcised. One who is not submitted to the Judean, I hate saying Jewish. One who is not submitted to the Judean rite of circumcision, Gentiles. So the uncircumcised also carry the equal as Gentiles. Like we saw in Ephesians 2:11. Look at this again. Uncircumcised. One who is not submitted to the Judean rite of circumcision, Gentiles. Now we go back to Ephesians 2:11. Oh, brothers and sisters, I messed up. Ephesians. Ephesians 2. In verse 11. Now, before we go back and read this, down at the bottom again, uncircumcised. One who is not submitted to the Judean rite of circumcision, Gentiles. So uncircumcision, Gentiles. Let's read that. Ephesians 2:11. Wherefore remember that ye being in times past Gentiles in the flesh who are called uncircumcision. So an uncircumcised man was also a Gentile. You see, you're reading it. You will not read the term non-Jew, non-Israelite in the book. There is no verse in the text that is going to show, prove, or state that a Gentile is a non-Israelite or a non-Jew. You have no verse in the New Testament or Old that's going to confirm that. That is a carnal definition. These people made that up for their various reasons, of course. But the Gentiles are the uncircumcision. Whether the uncircumcision be of Israel or him, doesn't matter. They're not going to come. What you see when you go back to the book of Isaiah 52. See, this is what lets you know that you got to understand Isaiah 52:1. It says, awake, awake, put on thy strength, O Zion. Put on thy beautiful garments, O Jerusalem. The garments, the holy city. Zion is that holy city, the people. For henceforth there shall no more come into thee, you, the uncircumcised and the unclean. The Gentile will no more come into you. They will no longer be among you. Not. You can't have a city without a people. So it was all together. So no Gentiles will be in there. No other nations. So back to Revelation 21. Revelation 21. Verse 2 again. And I, John, saw the holy city, people, New Jerusalem coming down from God out of heaven, because when he places us there in that spot, that's why it says prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Bride. Let's get the book of Jeremiah. So you got to understand, the bride. Is a place going to be a bride? That's Jeremiah 31. Now think, is this the one I want? I don't think this is the one I want. Give me a second, brothers and sisters. I don't think this one is the one I want. So I'm going to go back and look at this paper. I had this verse in my head, but I don't think it's the one I want. Jeremiah 33. I was close. Jeremiah 33. And we're going to start in verse 10. It says, thus saith the Lord, again, there shall be heard in this place, which ye say shall be desolate. Now, this is a prophecy that I wanted to go deeper into one time, and I am. So just give me some time. Thus saith the Lord, again, there shall be heard in this place, which ye say shall be desolate, without man and without beast, even in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem that are desolate, without man and without inhabitant and without beast. Pay attention. The voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bride and groom, the bridegroom, and the voice of the bride. So here's the now. Here's the bridegroom, the voice of the bridegroom. You know, the bridegroom is Christ. The voice of the bridegroom, which is Christ, and the voice of the bride. Who's going to be that bride? The voice of them that shall say, praise the Lord of hosts, for the Lord is good, for his mercy endureth forever. His mercy is going to be given for Israel, letting you know that that bride is Israel. The bride has always been Israel. His mercy endureth forever. And you can see just what we're going to come back here. Just a few verses to show, if I can, who the mercy is for, because people think God is going to have mercy on all nations, anybody that believes. No, that is not prophecy. You must go by prophecy. The Bible prophesies who will get the mercy. You don't have to guess. Psalms 130. Psalms 130. Psalms 130 and 7. It says, let Israel hope in the Lord, for with the Lord there is mercy, and with him is plenteous redemption. and he shall redeem Israel from all his iniquities. So notice early on, let Israel hope in the Lord, for with the Lord there is mercy. So who's going to get mercy? Israel. But I want you to pay attention on how this is written. Because if you go back and you look at Micah, chapter 7, Micah chapter 7, verse 18. Who is a God like unto thee, that pardoneth iniquity, and passeth by the transgression of the remnant of his heritage? His heritage is Israel. Psalm 78:71. He retaineth not his anger forever, because he delighteth in mercy. Mercy. He will turn again. He will have compassion upon us. He will subdue our iniquities, and thou wilt cast all their sins into the depths of the sea. Thou wilt perform the truth to Jacob, and the mercy to Abraham, which thou hast sworn unto our fathers from the days of old. You see who the mercy was promised to? The mercy was promised to the children of Abraham. And they knew this in the New Testament. They knew this. That's why when you go to the book of Luke 1, Luke 1, Luke 1, verse 54. I want you to pay attention. And he hath opened his servant Israel in remembrance of his mercy. See, the mercy was already promised, already prophesied. That's why it says in Luke 1:70, as he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began, that we should be saved from our enemies and from the hand of all that hate us. So, wait a minute, let me just continue to read. To perform the mercy promised to our fathers and to remember his holy covenant. So the mercy promised to the fathers is that Israel would be saved from their enemies. We already know who the mercy was going to. There's no verse in this Bible that's going to tell you God is, in the Old Testament, it's going to tell you God is going to give mercy to the other nations. It's only Israel, whether they be the scattered northern kingdom or parts of southern kingdom. You're not going to find verses where God's going to have mercy on all nations. No, it's not there. It's not written. We already know where it's at, where it's written. There's plenty of them. But just to let you see this, I want to go to Isaiah 7 and 8. Isaiah 7, verse 8. For the head of Syria is Damascus, and the head of Damascus is Rezin. And within 65 years, 65 years, shall Ephraim, that's northern kingdom, be broken, that it be not a people. Gentiles. When it says be not a people, this is when they became Gentiles, wanderers among the nations. That it be not a people. Not a people. So, when I go to Isaiah 55, here's a prophecy given of mercy. Isaiah 55. Verse 5. Behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee because of the Lord thy God, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he hath glorified thee. Remember, it says, and thou shalt call a nation and nations. The nation he was going to call first were the Jews, and the nations were the northern kingdom. Because, brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, the word in this verse you need to pay attention to is call. Call. Now, remember what we read to you in Joel 2. See, this is, if we're reading all the verses, because I can interpret this, oh, but the Lord shall call a nation that thou knowest not. I can say, oh, this is a nation he knoweth not. And those that knew him not shall run to him. That's other people. No, that's an interpretation. Because if I go to Joel 2, watch this, Joel 2, verse 32. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call on the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord has said, and the remnant whom the Lord shall call. So according to this verse, he's calling Zion. According to this verse, he's only calling Zion. You know, Romans, again, we're going back to Romans. We're going back to Romans 8, Romans chapter 8. And even before we go to Romans 8, Romans 11 and 1, I say then, have God cast away his people? God forbid, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. God hath not cast away his people which he foreknew. Stop. See, God foreknew a people. He foreknew a people. Look at the word. Foreknew a people. Who is the people he foreknew? Israel. Israel is who he foreknew. He only foreknew Israel. That's why Amos 3, real quick, Amos 3, verse 1. Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel. It's the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, you are therefore I will punish you. Sorry, brothers and sisters, my mic went out. It had to be reprogrammed. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities. Your iniquities. So the only one God knew was Israel. So when we go back to Romans 8, verse 29, it says, for whom he did foreknow, he also did predestinate. So Israel is the predestined. Whom did he foreknow? Who did he foreknow? Let's go back to Romans 11. I want to make sure y'all understand this. I say then, hath God cast away his people? God forbid, for I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. God hath not cast away his people which he foreknew. So who did he foreknow? Israel. So when we go back to Romans 8, verse 29, for whom he did foreknow, which is Israel, he also did predestinate to be conformed to the image of his Son, that he might be the firstborn among many brethren. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, them he also called. See, the predestined were the called. All nations were never designed to be called. And whom he called, them he also justified. And whom he justified, them, that's why he keeps saying them, he also glorified. Moreover, whom he did predestinate them, because it's a certain group of people. Them he also called. He never was going to call all that believe. God was never calling all that believe. That is a made up doctrine. They try to use 1 Corinthians 1 and 2 to say, no, the predestined is whom he foreknew. For whom he did foreknow. Who was that? Israel. Moreover, whom he did predestinate, which is who he foreknew, which is Israel, them he also called. So Israel was the called. But what you see in Isaiah 55, look at this. Got to pay attention because it'll get you. Isaiah 55, verse 5. It says, for behold, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not, and nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee, because of the Lord thy God, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he glorified thee. Look at this. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. What does it mean, seek the Lord while he may be found? Because this is going to explain verse 5. A nation that he knew not, he was going to call a nation that he knew not. But he knew Israel, right? But wait, I'm showing y'all what happened. There was an event that happened for this verse to say this. So let's go back to 2 Chronicles. I'm going to show you what happened. 2 Chronicles 15. Second Chronicles 15 and 2. And he went out to meet Asa, and said unto him, hear ye me, Asa, and all Judah and Benjamin. See, Judah and Benjamin, pay attention. The Lord is with you while ye be with him. And if ye seek him, he will be found of you. Found of you. But if ye forsake him, he will forsake you. Now for a long season Israel hath been without the true God. How? How can Israel go without their God? How can Israel go without their God? Now for a long season Israel has been without the true God, meaning they were in idolatry, worshiping false gods. If they were without the true God, that means they were worshiping false gods. Now for a long season Israel has been without the true God, and without a teaching priest, and without law. Without law. How could this happen? They're scattered in other nations. But look at this. But when they, in their trouble or tribulation, did turn unto the Lord, the Lord God of Israel, and sought him, he was found of them, and sought him. Now notice, for a long season, Israel was without a true God, meaning they were worshiping false gods. Without a teaching priest, there was no sacrifice. And without a law. Why? Because they were in other nations. Among the people. That's why it says, but when they in their trouble, which is tribulation, did turn unto the Lord God of Israel and sought him, he was found of them. And sought him. What does it mean to seek the Lord? What does it mean sought him? Psalms 119. Psalms 119. What does it mean to seek the Lord? The Lord himself. What does it mean to seek the Lord himself? The book of Psalms 119 and 1. Blessed are the undefiled in the way, who walk in the law of the Lord. Blessed are they that keep his testimonies, and that seek him with the whole heart. See, the keeping of the testimonies is seeking the Lord with your heart. So to seek the Lord, you will be keeping his testimonies. When you seek the Lord himself, the only way you can do it It's by keeping the law. So understanding the Bible prophesies all the time. You can sit and think that it's one thing, but it has to be proven. Isaiah 55, verse 5. Behold, thou shalt call the nation. Call. The only one he's calling is Israel. But something happened. When he says, thou shalt call a nation that thou knowest not. Something happened for God not to know them. And nations that knew not thee shall run to thee because of the Lord thy God. Nations that knew not thee. Why did they not know him? Because they were without a true God, a teaching priest in the law, being scattered among the nations. Because remember, the only one God is calling is Israel. So this is letting you know that when he calls this nation and these nations that knew him not, and that he didn't know, it was because he had scattered them. And nations that knew not thee shall run unto thee because of the Lord thy God, and for the Holy One of Israel, for he glorifieth thee. Watch this. Thee, this thee. Who is the thee? But look, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he was near. How do you seek him? By keeping his commandments. That's how you seek the Lord. By reading and keeping the law, you're going to find him. Like it says in 2 Chronicles 15 and 3 and 4. So there's times, brothers and sisters, when you look at how God is going to give his mercy to Israel, but in other times, Israel can be referred to the nation or nations. And we told you this. That's why we don't go into a whole lot. We can go into a whole lot, but it just takes time and more time and more time. But we know when we go back to Jeremiah 31. And we're going to further prove it. We don't have to do it this way, but we're going to further prove it. Because I'm going around the bend 3 to 4 times. I don't have to do that. I could, when I go to verse 3, it would have showed. It would have showed. Jeremiah 33, verse 11. The voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom, which is Christ, and the voice of the bride, the voice of them that shall say, praise the Lord of hosts, for the Lord is good, for his mercy endureth forever. And of them that shall bring the sacrifice of praise into the house of the Lord, for I will cause to return the captivity of the land. That is the bride. I could have just did that. As at the first, saith the Lord. So that bride is the captivity. Like we've been showing you. Let's go back to Revelation. You gotta look at things in a way, brothers and sisters, that show. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven. Now, this city is people with it, prepared as a bride. The bride would be Israel, adorned for her husband, which is Christ. Cross-reference. But watch the next verse, where we're going to end. I'm just going to verse 3. And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with man. Now, this is what we're going to look at. The tabernacle of God is with man. Let's go to this tabernacle. Let's look at this tabernacle that's going to be with men. The book of Isaiah, chapter 33. Because when you see the tabernacle of God is with men, you think it's all men. No, it's not. Let's look at this. The book of Isaiah, chapter 33, verse 20. It says, look upon Zion, the city of our solemnities. Thine eyes shall see Jerusalem, a quiet habitation, a tabernacle that shall not be taken down. Not one of the stakes thereof shall ever be removed, neither shall any of the cords thereof be broken. So this tabernacle will not be taken down. Not one stake shall be moved, or no cord shall be broken. So this is a different type of a tabernacle here. Watch this. You can see the time, you can see the prophecy. But there, the glorious Lord will be unto us a place of broad rivers and streams, wherein shall go no galley with oars, neither shall gallant ship pass thereby. So, when it says, wherein shall go no galley with oars, a galley with oars is look it up. A galley with oars is a large ship of old times that was used for war. That's why it says, neither shall gallant ship pass thereby. A gallant ship is also a large ship that transported cargo and was used for war. They had cannons. So he's saying in this verse, but the glorious Lord will be unto us. The us is Zion. Us is Zion, a place of broad rivers and streams, wherein shall go no galley with oars, neither shall gallant ship pass thereby. No war. This is another time. These waters, there's no fleets that's going to pass through these waters. Not at all. Watch this. For the Lord is our judge. The Lord is our lawgiver. The Lord is our king. He will save us. Thy tacklings are loosed. They could not well strengthen their mass. They could not spread the sail. See, this is talking about the ship still. That was up here. Still talking about the ships. Then is the prey of a great spoil divided. The lame take the prey. What is that talking about? What is that? When he says, thy tacklings are loosed, they could not well strengthen their mass. They could not spread their sail, meaning they're not going to be able to prevail with war. They're not going to be able to prevail with war. That's the end of that. Then is the prey. Who is the prey? Let's go to Zephaniah. Let's look at this prey. Zephaniah 3. Verse 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. To the prey. The prey, you're going to find out who the prey is. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. So the prey are the Gentiles, the other nations. That's the prey. The other nations is the prey. Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah 30. Jeremiah 30. Verse 16. It says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. Now, I want to go back. Well, I'll take it from here. Watch God. It says, therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries. The adversaries were who? Who was the adversaries of Israel? You got to ask yourself that question. Who was the adversaries? You must prove all things. The book of Nehemiah 5, verse 9. Nehemiah 5, verse 9. Also I said, it is not good that ye do. Ought ye not to walk in the fear of our God? That's keeping of the law, Ecclesiastes 12:13. Because of the reproach of the Gentiles, our enemies. So the Gentiles were the enemies of Israel. The Gentiles were the enemies of Israel. And there's no further proof than here. Daniel 4. I'm going to show you that the Gentiles were the enemies of Israel. Look at this. Then Daniel, whose name was Belshazzar, was astonished for 1 hour, and his thoughts troubled him. The king spake and said, Belshazzar, let not the dream or the interpretation thereof trouble thee. Belteshazzar answered and said, my lord, the dream be to them that hate thee, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. See, Israel was enemies to other nations. And it's proof right here. Daniel says, the dream be to them that hate you. He's talking to a Gentile king. He's talking to Africans. The dream was given to them that hate Gentiles, and the interpretation thereof to thine enemies. So we know here that the Gentiles are the enemies of Israel. So when we go back to Jeremiah 30, verse 16, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, who are they? The Gentiles. Every one of them shall go into captivity. Yes, sir. They're going to go. This is truth. People don't like it, though. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. So the prey are the adversaries, which are the Gentiles. So the prey are going to be the Gentiles, the other nations, as proven. Back to Isaiah 33. Isaiah 33. Verse 23. Thy tacklings are loosed. They could not well strengthen their mass. They could not spread the sail. Then is the prey, which are the Gentiles, of a great spoil divided. The lame take the prey. Who is the lame that's going to take the prey? Who is the lame that's going to take the prey? Let's get Isaiah 35. Let's look at the prophecy about who is this lame. Isaiah 35:4. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, your God will come with vengeance, even God with recompense. He will come and save you. He's talking about Israel now. Israel. Look at this. Then the eyes of the blind shall be opened, and the ears of the deaf shall be unstopped. Then shall the lame man leap as a hart, and the tongue of the dumb sing. For in the wilderness shall waters break out and streams in the desert. So the lame of Israel are going to leap like a hart. It's going to be a conditional change for the lame. So when we go back to Isaiah 33, verse 23, thy tacklings are loosed. They could not well strengthen their mass. They could not spread the sail. There's nothing, they can't do anything. There's no more. The ships are taken out. Then is the prey of a great spoil divided. The prey of the Gentiles. The lame, which is Israel, when they're restored their power, take the prey, which are the Gentiles. Watch this. And the inhabitants shall not say, I am sick. The people that dwelleth therein shall be forgiven their iniquities. So the people that dwell therein would be where? Dwell in where? When it says, I want you to look at this. It says, and the inhabitants shall not say, I am sick. The people that dwell therein. Let's go back up to verse 20. It says, look upon Zion, the city of our solemnities. Thine eyes shall see Jerusalem, a quiet habitation, a tabernacle that shall not be taken down. Not one of the stakes thereof shall ever be removed. Not one of the stakes thereof shall ever be removed. Neither shall any of the cords thereof be broken. So this is the tabernacle. The tabernacle. The point is the tabernacle. So when we drop back down to verse 24, and the inhabitants shall not say, I am sick. The people that dwell therein in that tabernacle shall be forgiven their iniquity. This is going to show you who it's talking about. Who's going to be forgiven their iniquity according to the Bible? It ain't just anybody. Who's going to be forgiven for their iniquity? Because the people that dwell in the tabernacle are going to be forgiven their iniquity. Jeremiah 31. You got to prove that. Jeremiah 31. Jeremiah 31. Getting to the point here, because I went longer than I wanted, but that's fine. Jeremiah 31:33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts, and will be their God, and they shall be my people. The new covenant with the house of Israel. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know the Lord. For they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith the Lord. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. So he's going to forgive Israel's iniquity. See, they like to, when you look at Psalms, I think it's 32, because Christians like to go here. Christians go here. Look at this. It says, blessed is he whose transgressions is forgiven, whose sin is covered. So people says, well, see, it says, blessed is the man whom transgression is forgiven and whose sin is covered. Where whose transgression is to be forgiven and whose sin is covered, according to the Bible. Is it just any man? Psalms 85. Psalms 85, verse 1. It says, Lord, thou hast been favorable unto thy land. Thou hast brought back the captivity of Jacob. Thou hast forgiven the iniquity of thy people, thou hast covered all their sin. Yes, sir. That's whose iniquity he's forgiving and covering. Israel's, his people. The only iniquity that God is going to forgive and cover is Israel's. Thy people is Israel. He's not forgiving and covering anybody from any nation's he's not forgiving anybody from any nation that believes of their iniquity and covering their sins. It tells you here, thou hast forgiven the iniquity of thy people. Thou hast covered all their sins. He's forgiving and covering the sins of his people, not nations. So when it's Jeremiah 33. Jeremiah 33, verse 8. Let's go at 7. Jeremiah 33 and 7. And I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel, both kingdoms, to return, and will build them as at the first, And I will cleanse them from all their iniquity, whereby they have sinned against me. And I will pardon all their iniquities, whereby they have sinned, and whereby they have transgressed against me. Prophecy continues to state that God is going to forgive and pardon the iniquities of a people, not everybody. It says the same thing in Hebrews 10:17. Let's look at that. They couldn't listen. No pastor can go past prophecy. No pastor. Hebrews 10:16. They had to quote Jeremiah 31, 33, and 34. Because there's no other verse that you can go to prove all nations' iniquities are going to be forgiven. There's not. That's why it says here, Hebrews 10:16. This is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith the Lord. I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds will I write them. And their sins and iniquities I remember no more. So it's the same thing written in Jeremiah. And their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. He's pardoning the iniquity of his people only. There's no prophecy lined up saying he's going to pardon everyone's iniquity. No. You read the verses that show. So when we go back to Isaiah, verse 24. And the inhabitant shall not say, I am sick, I am in sin. The people that dwell therein shall be forgiven their iniquity. The people that dwell therein shall be given their iniquity. Who's going to be forgiven their iniquity? Israel. That's who's going to dwell in the tabernacle in verse 20. The tabernacle of the Lord has the people in it whom he has forgiven. And that's Israel. And we're going to prove this again. The book of Ezekiel, chapter 37. I want you to pay close attention to this. Ezekiel 37. Verse 24. And David my servant shall be king over them. Them, because we always want to make sure you know the topic of discussion. Verse 21. and say unto them, Thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the Gentiles, whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side. That's the four corners of the earth, every side, and bring them to their own land. And I will make them one nation. One. He's going to put them together. And the land upon the mountains of Israel. And one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations. Two nations. Neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore. God's going to bring them all together. That's what John 11 verses 49 through 52 is talking about. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of all their dwelling places, whereby they have sinned. Sinned now, and I will cleanse them. Why? Because they're unclean. Remember Isaiah 52 and 1, the uncircumcised and the unclean. Some of those unclean will be Israelites. There's a condition to these verses. And I will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. So if he's going to cleanse them, how would God cleanse them? Psalms 119. It's going to be a way. See, people think that he's just going to automatically cleanse us. No. Again, the observation. This is how we're going to be cleansed. Psalms 119 and 9. Wherewithal shall a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed thereto according to thy word. God is going to cleanse us with his word. He's not going to give a big bath to all the nation of Israel. The word is how he's going to cleanse us. Let's go back to Ezekiel 37. Verse 23. Neither shall they defile themselves any more with their idols, idolatry, nor with their detestable things, nor with any of their transgressions. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God. Cleanse us now. And David my servant shall be king over them. And they all shall have one shepherd. They shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes, and do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, even they and their children, and their children's children forever. See, children, that's who's going to be there. Israel, the children's children, from one generation to the other. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Moreover, I will make a covenant of peace with them. Still talking about Israel, the two kingdoms that were made one. And it shall be an everlasting covenant with them. And I will place them and multiply them. And I will set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. That's forever. But here we go. My tabernacle also shall be with them. When the Bible says, let's go back. When it says in Revelation 21, and verse 3, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men. The men is talking about is Israel. Let's go back and look. It's going to tell you here, Ezekiel. It's telling you the men is going to be among. It's telling you the men God is going to put his tabernacle among. That's why it says in Ezekiel 37:27, my tabernacle also shall be with them. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people. The tabernacle of God is going to be with Israel. John wrote with men, but now you see who those men are. Because in Leviticus 26, in the book of Leviticus 26, watch this. Leviticus 26. Now, if we kept his commandments, look at the condition. For I will have respect unto you, Israel now, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. And ye shall eat old store, and bring forth the old because of the new. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Look at this. And I, the I is God, will set my tabernacle among you, and my soul shall not abhor you. So God always has wanted to set his tabernacle among the children of Israel. And he eventually is going to do it in Ezekiel 37:27. Let's go back. See, God always wanted his tabernacle among his people, but now he's going to get it in this day. My tabernacle also shall be with them. The them is Israel. Yea, I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And all the Gentiles, that's the heathen, shall know that I, the Lord, do sanctify them, not you. You're not included in this. You're not included. When my sanctuary shall be in the midst of them, Israel, forevermore, eternity. So the tabernacle of God is going to be amongst the Israelites. But John wrote, wait a minute. John wrote, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men. The men that the tabernacle of God is with is Israel. And he will dwell with them. There is the them. And they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God. So see, when you talk about Revelation, when you talk about the way you interpret the Bible, the tabernacle of God, when he brings it, is going to be with Israel. Not everybody. But these pastors, when you see pastors like these brothers and sisters teaching people that look like this, no Bibles, or those who just, are organized, they look and see what worship is like, and they just mimic what they see. I did the same thing as a child. I look at my grandmother, my mother, they clap their hands, so I clap mine. Amen. So I say, amen. There's no reading involved. There's nothing involved in that. That's just tradition. So guess what? They'll always be left out. God's tabernacle is going to be with the Israelites and the Israelites alone. And with that, brothers and sisters, happy Sabbath to you. Just wanted to cover that basis. All praises to the Most High, and may God be with all of us in these last days, learning the truth of the text with proof. May God be with you in all praises.